Okay, so bit of unusual discussion on the table. Hopefully we might just avoid some potholes for you. So there's no doubt that many businesses in Ireland are on a road to excellence. Internationally, Ireland is seen to have something that is working as more and more organisations reach internationally recognised levels of excellence. We have a number of companies now who are really top-notch, and that is being noticed internationally. Externally, there's a level of envy at the joined-up government agency support, the focused coordination between academia and industry, and the open sharing between industries themselves. We have a recipe that is working, and it's certainly getting noticed. There's a great energy and almost an excitement for more companies to get involved, and probably like yourselves in the room. So what I want to do in these few minutes is just give you a note of caution, something to watch out for as you dive into this program. So, general day in the life of a consultant. We visit many companies, we see lots of stuff, but very often you feel like a bit of an archaeologist. So you're rooting through things that people have done in the past. Okay. So, oh yeah, we did TPM 2 years ago. Or we tried 5S and it didn't stick. Or we did Six Sigma, but that just did people's heads in. It didn't work. So this is a regular picture we would see. So what's going wrong here? And what's the impact? So basically what I see is people have started these initiatives without really thinking what they're about. And I mentioned earlier, why are we actually doing this? And in fact, you're probably aware of all the 8 wastes of lean. Well, this is a 9th waste. A 9th waste of lean. We put in energy, we rev people up, we give them all this training, we set them off for nothing. Now this is a huge debilitating effect on the behaviour and culture in organisations. Why should we bother again? Why should we get up and do stuff again when we tried that before? So tools very quickly become buried artefacts. Or as one guy in an assessment I did in the company recently, he says, look John, it just becomes more noise and wallpaper around the place. So we have all this stuff on the walls, we're being told to do this, that and the other, we just put the helmet on and we just do what we always did. So how do you get around that? Thank goodness. Okay, so this is the 10 guiding principles from Shingo Enterprise Excellence. True excellence is based on principles by which the company wants to organize itself. What are the things we stand for? So Shingo, and again, I'm not assuming that everybody wants to go on the Shingo journey, but there's certainly great value in thinking in terms of principles for how you want to run your organization. So these are Shingo's 10 guiding principles, words to the wise. So the first one talks about focus on your customer. Now there's a good idea, focus on your customer. But it also mentions things like focus on your process, embrace scientific thinking, flow and pull value, lead with humility and respect every individual. So guiding principles by which to run your organization. Motherhood and apple pie sort of stuff. But what Shingo challenges do in how you think about your continuous improvement program, it says, okay, if these principles make sense for us, can't be denied. Okay? What behaviors and culture would we see in our organization if these principles were being lived every day? So what would focus on customer actually look like if I was walking around your organizations and seeing how you were, where you were on your journey? What would focus on the process look like if I'm visiting your companies and understanding how you focus on your process? What does that look like? So now the difficult bit. So if we say that, yeah, John, I get those principles and I understand what behaviors I need in my organization, how do the systems that you have in your business, how you maintain and optimize your performance of your equipment using things like OEE, how you maintain the condition of your equipment, how you develop the skills in your team, how do they actually enable the right behaviors, or do they in fact disable them? So just go back to one of those things I mentioned before, this idea of who's doing lean at the moment? Lean stuff. Do you have performance boards and area cockpits and all that good stuff? Okay. That's usually one of the top signs that tell me whether a program is actually alive or dead. Okay. That's one of the regular artifacts we would see around the place. So if we think about systems and behaviors, what systems would we expect to see rolling through this? Now this could be in an office, it could be in an R&D area, it could be in a laboratory or a manufacturing cell. Well, what are the systems I would look for linked to it? I would certainly want to see how this business is aligned to where the company needs to go. What are the things this area needs to do to link into the company's strategy? It might be small little bits, but it gives people the reason why they need to do what they need to do. How does the system of improvement work here? Okay. How do we actually make improvement happen? What's the system of hearts and minds, engaging people? How do I engage people in this process? What does that look like? Reward and recognition systems, patting people on the back, simple stuff to get people engaged. And how do we measure our process? Are we measuring the right things, or are we looking at these high-level things that absolutely mean nothing to people on the shop floor? But again, many companies say, John, we have this. We do this all the time, but it doesn't work. And actually, our supervisors don't believe in it, and then we have to beat our leaders around the ear with this thing called leader standard work to make sure they go down and actually look at it. And you say, well, what's going wrong here? We have a tool, but it's not working. But what we find is people are not understanding where they are on this journey. There's another squiggly line for you. So, are we in a reactive firefighting environment? Are we in an area where we're creating stability for ourselves and we're creating headspace in the process, capacity in the process, and headspace in people's minds, so we can be prepared for the next big thing? Where are we on that journey, and how do we need our systems and our people to work in that space? Here, you're looking for those spooky monsters and you're getting rid of them. That's all you're doing. You're focusing on the process and nailing those things that are tripping people up every single day. It might be the poor equipment, it might be the lack of equipment, it might be the poor suppliers that are continually tripping them up. Don't try and drive this fantastic excellence and improvement activity if the guys don't have the basic stuff every day to do what they need to do. Don't talk about driving safety into the workplace and creating this excellent safety environment if the guys don't have the work or the equipment that's safe for them to actually use. It is a disabling behavior in an organization. You will kill your improvement activity stone dead, highly cynical environment, very destructive. Focus on your process. So what we need to think about is, yes, we need things happening. We need these systems, but they will look different in each of these phases. In the beginning, we're after those hairy monsters. How do we work our systems to do that? How do we work our systems when we're in this proactive, predictive phase to predict the next thing? Maintain stability, ensure standards are complied with. Look for an increase in capacity, getting that 1 or 2 more % in our OEE. How do we drive our systems to deliver that? They will change. So basically, what we look at here is, regardless of whether you want to go for Shingo, having high-level principles help people latch on to what we're trying to do. You can have the most fundamental piece of work, the most boring piece of work you can ask somebody to do, picking sandwiches off a shelf in a fridge, putting a small little component together every hour of every day, working on the same sort of research investigation it's all very boring, monotonous stuff. The work should almost become secondary to the developing of the capability of the people. But how am I learning to improve this process? How am I learning greater skills? But how am I developing my people? And how do I move along this journey? So principles like we respect every individual and we develop people gives a different cut to the way an organization will run itself. If we have the principle we focus on process, gives a different cut to how we'll organize our processes, our systems, the equipment we have, the way we measure a process, the way we understand our process. So these top level principles, if we accept them, give us a focus. They give us a why to why we're doing this continuous improvement program and how we need it to work. So if we accept those principles, we then need to think about what are these behaviors and how these behaviors change on this journey. We will always have, I think you can read this here, systems. Okay, we will always need particular systems in the business. You will need a system to bring in an order. You'll need a system to hire new people, and you'll need a system of continuous improvement in your organization, or you won't be here tomorrow. But that system will change depending on where you are in the journey. The processes within that system will change depending on that journey, and the tools that you use and how you use them will change on that journey. You cannot apply highly technical, complicated stuff when you're living in this reactive environment. You need to be very clear on your strategy and where the business is going next if you have the luxury of being in that far left-hand side of the curve. The processes, the systems, and the tools will change. So, in summary, there's absolutely no doubt that tools for continuous improvement do work. What I absolutely stress you to do is get this idea of principles. What are we about here? Are we actually, how much are we thinking about our people and developing our people? How are we focusing on our customers and bringing that message into the business? How are we focusing on our processes and ensuring that people have what they need to do every day? So, key thing in your journey is really grasp where you are. Do not swallow your own propaganda. Understand where you are in the business. See stuff that's happening on a day-to-day basis in your work areas, in your laboratories, on your shop floor. Grasp the situation. Focus on the process in detail, underlined in detail, because that's where the devil is. That's how you manage those leading indicators that will lead you to success. Identify your vital few. Go after them like dervishes. Protect and support your team. Learn from others. And think in terms of systems and behaviors. What are the behaviors I need from my leader, manager, if this is going to work for me? Okay. Could talk for 3 days on this stuff. We will stand down below, loads of stuff down there. Love to see you down there. I think we're in 26B or something, near the B. Okay, thank you very much for your attention.